Did you see that one today? He sacrificed so much of his life. This little puff piece on Woj. All right, let's do a show, guys. Let's do a live show. Oh, gosh, here we are. Let's get it. What is everybody? Welcome to the pregame show.
Let's go!
Let's go! Oh, it's a bounce back night for our Nugs, baby. Let's bounce back. We are presented as always in the pregame show by Miller Lite. What time is it, boys?
Oh, it's Miller time.
It's
Miller time. Thanks for asking.
Crack open a nice cold Miller. It doesn't matter. It's a Monday. Let's do it. We're also in the Toyota Lounge room by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. Should Aaron Gordon start? Does he want to? Did he have some very interesting comments about it that maybe sent a mixed message from what we've been told? We'll talk about that. Also, Jokic's Wilt. Everybody's saying
allegedly.
The streets are talking, man, and everybody is saying Jokic's Wilt. We're going to talk about that perfect comp and preview, of course, the Nuggets taking on the Chicago Bulls. Brendan Vogt was not here on Saturday, so he's in a great mood.
Great mood. It's Saturday matinee game. Sorry you guys had to sit in it, ready for the Bulls game. By the way, you know, when we tell you guys he's Wilt, crickets, but when a basketball Hall of Famer says it, all of a sudden
we really are just like 5 years ahead of everything.
You know what it is? I think maybe if I was Kevin Garnett, it would help.
Yeah, it probably would
That's
help.
probably the problem.
Over here, looking dapper, Harrison Wind.
Oh, thank you, man. I love this color. You know, it's a color that really pops on me specifically.
Specifically, Harrison.
Yeah.
Also rocking the color. It's Superstar Dev.
You guys do look great, man.
You look
guys
great.
look great.
You look great.
I'm ready for it tonight. You know, it's time to flush. We flushed those ones out. We're already over it, and now we're on to bigger and better things. Like beating up on the Bulls. I hope that's what happens tonight.
I hope it is what happens tonight too, man. The Bulls, this is a good bounce back spot because it's not like you're playing Charlotte or something like that. It's like, hey, you got to show up tonight. You got to play. You got to do some stuff. But if you do, you should get a win tonight. That's how I feel about it. Let's go to the game notes.
The Bulls come into this game with a 19-27 record on the season. 19-27. They've lost 2 in a row, and they've actually lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of their last 8. That one win was against the Clippers. Good win, but some rough losses in there. They've lost to Philly recently. They've lost to Portland. They've lost to Charlotte. They've lost to New Orleans recently in this stretch.
Jesus.
So the Chicago Bulls are down pretty bad right now. Still, I think holding on to one of the playing spots in the East at 19-27.
I love that you could win.
That's the East
7 of 8, and you were in the play-in.
That's like the Bucks, and everyone was worried. They could start 0-20 and make the playoffs.
The Nuggets are like 11-13 in their last. Haven't moved. They're still 4th.
Right.
Haven't moved. Stuck.
Yeah. The Bulls, of course, 10 days until the trade deadline, they might be making a big trade. Zach LaVine, he's been balling out recently.
Heard about that.
Yeah. Having a great stretch of games, trying to get traded out of Chicago.
Or not. Did you see his comments? He loves Chicago.
Oh, does he? He loves the Bulls? He wants to stay there the rest of his career?
I'm just saying.
I mean, 100% truthful there. So, interesting matchup for the Nuggets. Great chance for a bounce-back spot. Nuggets come into this game with all their regulars good to go, and I did see the starting lineup. Aaron Gordon's still coming off the bench for this game. We'll talk about AG more in a second, but Russell Westbrook, Christian Brown, Michael Porter, Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic in the starting lineup.
Is there any word on Serbian Heritage Night?
No, but I can guarantee you it's happening.
Let's just put it on the
I
board.
can guarantee you.
If you're in Chicago, you should take advantage of it every single time that Jokic is in town.
Yeah.
This makes
Maybe
sense.
tonight he'll play both halves
Do you think Jokic is
instead
ever
of getting ejected at the end of the first.
Oh, man.
You think Jokic's ever again, huh?
Yeah, again.
He
Well,
definitely is.
No, he probably takes it as a reunion. He's probably excited. Every time I play in Chicago, I get to see my people. It probably is like a homecoming gift to him every time.
Well, he's got one of his homies on the Bulls too, Vucevic.
Yeah.
So they went out hard last night.
Yeah, Montenegrin Heritage Night. It's kind of funny. Tonight's game, though, it is a bounce back spot. The last one, we can do a quick mini hangover takes here. I'll just give you my perspective real quick. It is tough when you have a glass of cold water. There you go, hangover.
Confirmed, it is Serbian Heritage Night.
It is? Hell yeah.
Yeah, by our guy in the comments there.
I'm not lying.
Also, shout out to the Twitter account Food Porn.
Oh, yeah.
At Food Porn,
Okay.
who said at DNVR Nuggets, we're repping the Mile High at the United Center tonight. They just hit me up.
All right, well, there you go.
Shout out Food Porn.
My thing about the last game, you know, I did a show, it'll drop later with my guy Mark Campbell. He used to train Malik Beasley. He's an NBA trainer turned media member. Really sharp guy. We were talking about who we buy in the West. He had 2 teams he bought.
Okay.
Denver Nuggets, Minnesota Timberwolves. And it's kind of like, all right, you know, I mean, here's the thing. That was a bad performance. There was a lot of stuff going on, but it's like all things. It was a good match. It was a good team. It was a good matchup. They had their A game. Denver did not. And as much as it sucks because you never want to be owned by another team, and right now the Timberwolves kind of own Denver, tonight is like another opportunity for the Nuggets to show what they had showed prior to that, which is that they're actually good. And hey, that's a tough matchup. They have to figure it out.
There's going to be a difference between a game that matters and you learn from, but also it derails the run they're on and the progress. I'd actually be a little surprised, fellas. Sorry for the kiss of death if that's what happens. With Minnesota, they do have the physicality edge in that matchup right now. There's no doubt about it.
Denver has to figure that out.
Denver has to figure that out. Now, they played 2 series in the last 3 years. It's 1-1. I'd like to see a third. I'd like to see it with AG starting. I'd like to see it not a Saturday matinee in Minnesota. But credit to the Wolves too, right? Because this isn't a one-game thing. They've showed a little more care factor in this matchup in the regular season for a handful of years now. So that is something Denver has to navigate. Doesn't mean everything we saw that's good comes to a screeching halt if they can keep it going tonight.
And Dev, it's a rare bounce back night for Jokic, you know, because I don't think that was a very good performance from him out after the first quarter. And we're not in this situation a lot. So what do you kind of expect from him tonight?
A monster game, like just being back to himself. I mean, it's his heritage night in Chicago. It's a place that he truly does like to be. It seems like, you know, he has his restaurants that he goes to when he gets into town like this. This seems like something that's like refreshing from him every single year. And then also he's getting to go against, like Harrison said, like a guy that he really enjoys. And I'm sure that they like going at each other as well. So I do expect a bounce back spot for him. And if there's somebody that holds himself to like high character and high, you know, like I have to bring it every single night, it is Jokic. So I'm sure that he understands what happened in the last game.
Yeah. Also showed up in a nice looking suit for to the game tonight. I mean, I read into it a little bit.
Like, you read into it a lot.
Just a little bit. It just feels like he's taken a business-like approach to this game. Like, I think it's a real thing. He's, you know, locked in. He's serious. So, yeah, there it is right there.
Nice work. Look at this.
First off.
And if you scroll down to the shoes, you got to show the shoes. There you go.
Oh, yeah, this is business-like. And also, we've seen him go away from this, you know, at times where he was going with, like,
Got locked back in.
You got to lock back in. And I think that Harrison is not wanting. He used to be the first guy that was talking about the outfits walking into it and stuff like that. So you got to act like you're just playing coy about it. But it probably irks him.
On the road, too. On the road is when he sometimes says, hey, it's sweatsuit night, but not tonight. Well, hey, Serbian night. Who am I?
Yeah, Serbian Heritage Night.
Well, yeah, every road game is.
What else are we looking for in this game? Just kind of top level. I can start over on this side, Wind.
Man, the bench, and mainly because it's been good since Aaron Gordon's been coming off the bench. You know, he's coming off the bench tonight. So, you know, I expect the bench to be decent again against the Chicago second unit. But also because the trade deadline's in 10 days. And look, I expect the Nuggets to look to try to do something minor. But, you know, if the bench looks really bad over this next stretch, or like the Nuggets go into like a little bit of a nosedive, there's going to be a little more pressure to make a move. And I don't think it's ever going to be a big move now at this point, but a smaller one, there might be more, you know, pressure to make one if there really seems to be a need to over these next several games. So for the role guys, you know, there's some pressure on them to like keep up the momentum that the second unit has right now outside of that Minnesota game, and just continue to string together good performances.
What about you, Deb?
For me, it's I mean, it's easy to say always, but it's the defense. Like, they have to make a point and make a stand at some point. They have this game projected at like 248 or something
They
crazy.
think there's no defense.
They think there's going to be zero defense whatsoever, and that just can't be who you are. There can't be when they come into town, like, we're going to just run. We're just going to run them and see how we compete with that team. That just can't be it. So I think that defense has to be a stand if this Nuggets team wants to be serious. And maybe it's not the personnel that they have right now, but there has to be somebody that steps in and say, hey, we need to become a better defending team if we want to be contenders.
Well,
I was going to go with Devs. I'll just audible and say Porter's engagement level, whether he's getting shots or not. Excuse me, guys. It waned big time, especially in that last game. Now, I'll say he's not the only one, but Porter's a shooter who sometimes if he doesn't touch it, his head completely kind of leaves the game in the competition. Physicality was part of it in the last matchup, but I also think he just was out to lunch. Zach LaVine, don't even really need to say it, right? Those dots connect themselves right now. So I'd rather we're not sitting here in a post-game lounge talking about Porter's head not being in it while Zach LaVine scores 40 points, if I could have my pick. So, yeah, just how does Porter respond? I think it's been a down couple of weeks for Porter since some other elements of the offense have worked their way back in. He's always got this tightrope act. He's got to stay aggressive, but it's got to be a balance. He's got to stay engaged.
I just want a business performance from the Nuggets.
Yeah.
That's what I want. A serious one. One where,
How they had been up until this Minnesota game.
to be honest with you, even before that, the Nuggets have been in rhythm to me.
Yeah.
They have played the first half as a rhythm team and the second half business. I'd love to just see a 4 quarters of business tonight. You know, go out there and look like a team that's trying to sharpen up and get one and kind of resettle things. And you know what? As much as I love watching Yoke, I wouldn't mind if this was a 3-quarter triple-double, 4th quarter off kind of night for Yoke. I wouldn't mind that one.
I wouldn't either.
Aaron Gordon had some interesting comments after the game the other day that Bennett Durando had reported on. Actually, you have the order of these. What do we have first?
So let's retrace the timeline here of Aaron Gordon's recent comments. So the first one comes way back in this was a couple weeks ago, but this is after Aaron Gordon has returned from this recent calf injury, and he says, I think we'll probably stay with my minutes right around 20 for a while, then go to 25. I don't care whether I start or come off the bench. Doesn't matter to me. As long as I can contribute to winning the games for us. So
Mr. Nugget, baby.
That was what Aaron Gordon said. I think that was back on January 12th.
Back, not that far ago.
It was a couple weeks ago. And then the next one here, this came, just a little bit ago. I think, can we go to the other one first? Yeah. And then, Katie has this where she shares the story that, Coach Maloney talked to Aaron Gordon and he said, look, I'm willing to come off the bench. And, that's what's happened. Even when he's 100% healthy. That was a story from Michael Malone. And then finally, this quote comes from Aaron Gordon. This was after the Timberwolves loss the other night. And he says, I'm ready. I don't feel my calf anymore. Yeah, I'm ready. So it's on the training staff and the coaching staff now. So pretty strong reversal, it seems like, at least from his comments about being totally cool with coming off the bench. So that's the timeline.
So here's the thing, man. If he didn't give that quote about being 100%, I would have never guessed it. Because he doesn't look it to me, Dev. Like, he looks like a guy that is bothered by hamstring, calf, whatever.
Everyone is on the same thing of, like, he does not look right.
Right.
Even when he's dunking, like, he's doing athletic things that he's, like, not really over the rim or anything. So, and playing 20 minutes every single night, you were like, hey, there's something there. But for him to be the person that comes out and says, I'm healthy, I'm okay, it's not on me, that's where the questions do lie. And that's where, there might be some frustration because he's probably confused on, like, not only am I coming off the bench, I'm not playing a lot when I'm out there as well. This was shocking for him to say that I'm okay. And this kind of goes to last year when Jamal, like, everyone kept saying that he's not okay, he doesn't look right. He was the only one that didn't come out and say that. This is very opposite of that, where Aaron Gordon's saying, I'm fine, but I'm not playing.
2 games ago at home, he left the first quarter, went straight back to the tunnel, kicked a chair out of frustration, leaves, goes back to the locker room, comes back almost immediately, but doesn't play at all in the second quarter.
Yeah.
Doesn't play at all.
I thought he looked like he thought he might have hurt his calf again.
So he comes back and plays his normal second half rotation minutes. Tells Katie Wingy that night in the locker room after the game, he didn't specify calf, but he says, I felt some tweaks and some pops. I thought it was something worse than it was, but I'm fine. And then at the next game, he mentioned something again to Katie as well, I thought, about thinking he had maybe felt something, not his calf, but that he was okay. And then this quote comes out. So it is a little confusing. I do wonder, though, fellas, when he says on the coaching staff and the medical staff, does he mean lifting the minutes restriction, not necessarily starting again? So maybe those are 2 different conversations.
Yeah.
As we see in the chat, though, today, shouts to Vlada, today is Saint Sava Day. I didn't realize that. A holiday there, the patron saint of all Serbs. So
Big
something
holiday.
of a holiday here.
That's
I don't know
notable.
exactly
So it
how
has
you-
to be Heritage Night.
Serbian Heritage Night, Saint Sava. This is going to be a very Serbian night,
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah. I mean, last thing on AG, I wonder if the quote he did just give was maybe out of frustration a little bit too.
Yeah.
They had just gotten killed. He has been getting peppered with questions about this injury and really injuries for most of the season. It's been a really up and down, choppy year for him, just individually. That's where my first thought went. Like, what if he's just frustrated about how his season has gone and just kind of didn't want to answer the question? I don't know.
There's something natural to that. I will say that we saw last game. Here's what I believe about the Nuggets. I just don't know that they're going to have a set rotation. I think you always want one. But I do think that this team, more so than previous Nuggets teams, has more one-way players, which means you have to mix and match things a little bit more. You have to be a little bit more careful of how you go because you don't have the, like, these are our 5 guys and they cover all bases between them. And that's a tough place to be in. And I just think we saw with Minnesota, that's going to be an AG series. It wasn't an AG night, but that would be an AG series. It's an AG matchup. And, you know, the question about when does he start again? When do you do that stuff? When the team feels like he is healthy, maybe he is, maybe I have no idea. He says he is, so I have to take his word for it. But I do think that at some point this team is going to have to just be flexible, and that's just never been a trait. Malone has showed this year some flexibility, though. He has messed with some things, but I do think that's going to be the challenge here about when to bring him back. We have a clip from KG and Paul Pierce's podcast. I don't actually even know what it's called. What's it called?
Is it Area 21?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Could be. Let's
They're
play.
great.
It's a
Whenever-
great clip.
it's
They're
great
great.
whenever
love
I
the
see
clip.
it.
Seems like a great podcast based off this clip.
I always just
Clips
say
are
Kevin.
Jokic is 3rd in points, 3rd in rebounds, 2nd in assists, 4th in steals, 2nd in 3-point field goal percentage.
So he top 3 and 5 categories?
He wilt, nigga. Joker's wilt. Joker is doing wilt-like shit, bro.
It's ridiculous, dog.
No athleticism, really. Slow rolling, going at his own pace. Like, bro, it's not a miracle, but when you watch it,
It's efficient.
it's efficient and it's prolific.
He like
and it's
a-
constant.
he
You
like-
feel me?
First of all, I wish I was 1/1000th as cool as KG.
I wish I was as high as Paul Pierce. Can I do the Paul Pierce? He's top 3 and 5 categories.
What?
He's efficient.
KG's cooking. Paul Pierce just goes,
Prolific.
it's ridiculous. It's so good.
The energy KG does everything
He's so
with. It's
good,
just
man.
so like.
Just animated. Just, all fierce. Everything about him.
But you know something, man? I've thought a lot about this because to me, of the guys I've watched, LeBron really is the closest to Jokic that I've watched because he does everything offensively and doesn't have weaknesses. But he's really not like LeBron. He's only like him in that way. People say Tim Duncan. Not really. I mean, Tim Duncan also was just a different type of player. Wilt really might be the best comp for Jokic. And it's wild because we never saw Wilt. You know, we've just seen these little tips and or clips and what have you. But I kind of like this idea of, you know what? He is the closest comp to Jokic. It's not even Larry Bird. It's Wilt Chamberlain.
I literally can't concur because I've never seen Wilt Chamberlain play basketball in any capacity. But sure,
seen the numbers, though.
Statistically, yeah, man. Yes. It's The only people who have numbers in this certain sort of all-around category that are anywhere near Jokic are Wilt, who far surpasses him because the numbers are something different, and then Russell Westbrook, and it's not quite as efficient, and we know not quite the same winning impact. But it's Wilt. The other thing too that I think you talk about Wilt, the 100-point game, the size and the rebounding, but it's kind of insane how many assist records he's in as well as a center. So I would assume there was probably some similarity in playing through him. Yeah, I've always just gone with tall Larry Bird, but statistically, Wilt probably is the one.
I think it's wild that we have moved over from Larry Bird. Like he's getting all the most historic players there are.
Yep.
But when you go to Wilt, I think most people are in the same camp of vote as we did not see him. Like there's not as many highlights and story. Like it's all kind of folklore type of things. And that goes to show how incredible he is. It's just like these crazy numbers that he's reaching that no one else can reach.
Yeah.
Like Wilt is just, it's like a barometer that you have to try to get to. And Jokic is the only one that gets close to this barometer. So it has really, we've been talking about this for a while with our not since Wilt, because he was hitting those numbers so many times. But like, who else is there? Really, it's insane.
It's this concept. It's not that he's good at passing, good at assists, good at rebounding. It's that he dominates at all three. He can literally dominate a game by any one of those, and often on all three of them. He dominates all three categories.
Yeah. And because of that, when it's all said and done, we're going to look at Jokic's numbers, and as people who, watched every game that he played for his entire career, we're going to be like, yeah, like those are the numbers he put up. We saw it. But our kids are going to be like, what? 7-foot center led the league in assists and averaged a triple-double. There's no way that actually happened. The same way we're like, there's no way Wilt Chamberlain actually averaged 50 points and 25 rebounds in the season.
So true. I remember
it's going to be unbelievable in that way.
I still remember, growing up on the NBA and still getting into it. I remember like Rajon Rondo had a couple of like 2020 games in the playoffs and just being like, now that's a different kind. That's incredible. And like Jokic is
what
like
he is.
35, 22, 17. Who the F does that?
He's just going to have totals and like career statistics and numbers that people in generations after us look at and will go, something had to be up in that era. Like something had to be off with the rules or the competition. He was going against like TikTok influencers. That's who he was playing against. It must have been, because there's no way he could have put up those numbers.
They're just gonna down talk all the like rule changes that went into play. Like Steph Curry changed it, and that helps.
It's gonna be
like
the
it's
juice
gonna be
ball
things
era.
that are not actually there that you did.
But still, he's close to him, though.
What makes it so different from Wilt and Jokic? There's film. Like we get to see it. There's so many highlights that you're like, wow. We're how did that? How do we do that? And this is like the age of technology and being able to like replay it and social media and seeing it. So like that is going to be something that you don't even have to describe to the younger generation.
I was trying to find video of Jokic's fastest triple-double ever. Couldn't find it. Might have been scrubbed from the internet. I don't know. Might be gone.
I mean, here's the thing. LeBron is a modern-day Magic. Kobe is a modern-day Michael Jordan. Like, you kind of have these, And I just think it'd be cool if it's like, he's the modern-day Wilt. I think it's actually accurate, and it's really weird, but it's the truth. Before we get to our pregame picks, guys, we do have a couple new takeovers coming on. March 7th versus Phoenix, April 11th versus Memphis. Both of those bangers.
Great games.
Absolute bangers.
Banger.
You can get your tickets up on the events page on the DNVR.com. You're going to want to check all of that out. Those are, of course, sponsored by Breckenridge Brewery, Breckenridge Distillery. Pregame's picks are just presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code DNVR365. Deposit $10 and place a bet of $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. Must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Dev?
Let's make some money, man. We gotta bounce back from last game. It's time. Nuggets come into this game as 9-point favorites. That's a whole bunch. Especially just seeing how this team just played. We forgot about it. They clearly have forgot about it. They just don't think that this team is ready. I'm not going to steer you either way on 9. That's just a lot for this team that just performed in the same way that they do. What I will steer you for is I'm going to go with under 248. I just think that that's too high of a total. I have been looking at some of the Bulls totals on the year. They do have some monster games, but they also have a lot of stinkers where they just put up like 100.
Yeah.
Last game, I think they only had like 98 or something like that. They got mundered in the last game. So I feel like this is going to be a game that you should try to play a little bit of defense. I'm going to go with under 248. On the Bulls side, it's going to be Vooch, and it's the points and the rebounds for me. It's at 30.5. I think he scores easily here. He grabs a lot of the rebounds. He's the rebounder on the team. So I think that that's just one that they're going to try to go for. He's one of those scorers on Jokic. I think he has a big game offensively.
Shoots that little floater.
I also like Josh Giddey in this one. I mean, I think that he's just a lot better than what people think. He's pretty good. His points, rebounds, and assists is at 28.5. And with Lonzo back, he isn't the primary ball handler. He gets to do a little bit of everything. He's grabbing boards. He's assisting. He has a couple of triple doubles on the season. So I just think that this is a game that he'll get himself going as a guy that's under the radar because Zach LaVine's getting attention. Vooch is getting attention. Josh Giddey goes under the radar. Another Bulls one that we like, that I really like.
Yeah, we do, huh?
We all like it. We're going with the team prop. Under 120.5. This is my first leg. I don't think they should score that much. I don't want them to score that much. Denver has to
I like
try to
that
slow
one
them
because I want
down.
to root for that.
Exactly. Like try to like stop them from scoring. And this is a game that I feel like you can do that. So I'm going to go with the under. On the Nuggets side of things, let's start where we always start. Michael Porter Jr. over 2.5 3-pointers. He's getting the shots up. He has to hit them. This is not a game that's going to be. It's not going to be about physicality. You don't have to worry about that in this game. They also don't have the defenders to push up on him. I think that'll open up the floor for him to knock down a couple of
Torrey Craig
three-pointers.
out tonight.
I think that he'll knock him down. I'm going to go over 2.5 3-pointers. To stick with Michael Porter Jr., this is going to be our second leg. We're going to go with over 5.5 rebounds for him. I just think that if you want to bounce back and you talk about physicality and responding, you have to do some of the little things, and rebounding is one of those little things that you can do that shows that you can bounce back in these type of games. He also should have the opportunity to grab a couple of those rebounds. I mean, I just really like him in those spots of chasing them down or them just dropping right to him while the bigs battle with each other. So over 5.5 rebounds. I like Jamal Murray over 5.5 assists. This is a game that the ball is going to be in his hands a bunch. And right now he's moving well, he's operating, and there should be plenty of scoring opportunities. Your point guard has to find people. So I think that this is a game that he'll be able to get those assists. I also like that even in blowouts, they keep him in the game. So there's a couple of extra opportunities for him. I like that one. I like Christian Brown over 12.5 points. He'll get a little bit of giddy defense on him and trying to slow down the fast break opportunities.
I'm with this one.
12.5. He's just been aggressive, just getting downhill.
Kind of his number, but okay.
I like it. 12.5 is the one I'll go for. Another 3-pointers bet.
Yes.
I like Strother to knock down over 1.5 3-pointers.
I like this bet. Bad defense.
Bad defense, shot ready. I feel like Jamal has been finding him with that second unit where he just grabs it and shoots it. His line of points is 8.5. I think that the 2 3-pointers is what I'll go with. Expect a couple of floaters as well, but I'll just go with that one. Our defensive bet is Peyton Watson over 1.5 stocks.
He's been doing this easy.
He could do this in just blocks. He could do this in just steals. You get the opportunity to get a little bit of both. This is an easy bet for me.
Can I take just blocks 2.5? Because the juice ain't that great. Juice on 2.5, 2 blocks, 170.
Let's get it.
All
Let's
right.
get it. 2 blocks is going to happen.
It's like my financial planner.
Jokic,
Can I do this?
Jokic's bad game was due to effort. I'm sure he responds with playing a little bit harder, especially against a guy with his own name. You can't be the second best Nikola out there.
That's true.
Just don't see that you could do that. I'm going to go over 41.5 points plus rebounds. I really like that bet.
Wilt numbers right there.
He's going to score. He is going to score. He also has to rebound in this game. And for our lock.
That wasn't the lock.
That was not the lock. A triple-double.
Oh, let's go, you dirty dog.
The thing about this is, the last streak ended. All you have to do is start a new streak.
one, yeah.
This is
That
time
is
for him to
true.
start a new streak. I expect him to look normal, and a normal game for him looks like a triple-double. They have this line at minus 135.
Wow.
I got it 115 just now.
Started at 135. The no is plus 105.
Wow.
they truly know that this one is going to happen. We're going to get in on that one.
Bet365. Look at them. Jokic 15 plus
I was
points,
about to bring this up.
15 plus rebounds, 15 and plus assists, plus 1,400. Should we throw a little sprinkle?
I'm telling you, this hit last game, and it was plus 1,600.
2 games ago.
Or 2 games ago, they had this exact bet, and I was
They're
like,
going
no way.
back to the well.
You know how
Also-
many times he's had this in his career? Maybe 7. That's those numbers. The 3 of them at 15 is not common.
Yeah, but also it's 240 like 6 is the over under. They really do
You kind
expect
of like
this
it?
to
Are
get
we
up.
doing getting
We might as
reckless
well get
over
something.
here?
Just
small
I'm putting
here.
a very
A
small
We should
amount.
get something small here.
Yeah, that's such a terrible bet. I can't believe I just got suckered into that bet.
Oh, it's a pure sucker bet. But
It's not that bad if you think about it. It's only
Serbian Heritage Night, St. Sava.
It really matters.
You know, like,
man.
I don't know. All right, everybody, those are our pregame picks. Hope you ride around with us. We do have super chats.
oh yeah, this is from
this is dope.
Serbian
Chad Andrews.
Heritage Night.
From Chad Andrews,
Look
our
at
guy.
this hat the Bulls gave out.
All right, this is just tampering.
You're right, actually. I thought this was cool too until you pointed that
Yeah,
out.
that's-
Actually, I hate this.
That's the line, actually.
No, this
Come
is
on,
great.
Nuggets.
How sick would it be if there was a Nuggets hat like this?
Yeah, that would be smart. But also, there's a big Serbian heritage
Yeah.
in
Huge.
Chicago. So
Yeah.
why not do a Bulls?
They're
and
smart.
That's just genius level branding that the
It's
Nuggets
true.
need to do
It
as
is
well.
true.
I agree.
All right, well, I think that's going to do it here, guys. We'll see everyone in the Toyota Lounge, probably Winners Lounge. And if it's not, clip this and get mad at me. All right, talk to you later.
We all silly like the mayor.